So we're here in the marina at Brighton and we found Ollie from the Sussex Wildlife Trust, just as well after what we found out from Rich. So we're here at the marina and this is on the west edge of the Marine Conservation Zone, is that right?
It is, yeah. So Beachy
Okay.
Head West, which is one of the new marine conservation zones introduced in November 2013, started
over there.
just about here and stretches over towards the tip of Beachy Head.
Okay. So that's the whole landscape we can see get all the seascape we can see, the coastline we can see going on here.
Yep.
Right. So when did this all start?
So this started with the Marine and Coastal Access Act back in about 2009. Where
The Marine and Coastal Access Act?
Yeah.
Okay.
Which was a new piece of legislation to basically preserve and conserve the marine environment.
To look after
To look after it, yeah, exactly. And that proposed a network of marine conservation zones, and about 127 were proposed. 11 of those were here in Sussex, and so far 3 of them have been put forward, and that was last year. So that was Beachy Head West, Pagham Harbour is protected, and there is another zone over there called Kingmere, which protects black sea bream.
Oh really? I don't know about Kingmere. Yeah. Is it far away?
It's about 4 or 5 miles off the coast of Littlehampton.
Okay. Okay, so it's not right on the coast.
No, no.
So it's just offshore.
Yeah, so many of the marine conservation zones aren't coastal, they're actually out to the sea, and they're sort of protecting whatever, so they're actually taking threatened species or preserving the best examples of that habitat. So the scene we see here has chalk reefs and subtidal mud, subtidal sand, which doesn't sound very exciting, but it's actually an important habitat for things like mussels and oysters.
It's their home.
Sorry?
It's their home.
It's their home, exactly, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So this is new here.
Yep.
How long has this one been here?
This one's been here since November 2013.
Okay, so very recent. So
Very
it's barely
recent,
even a year old.
Barely even a year old. The management hasn't quite gotten in there at the moment, but there's loads of organisations working on it. So hopefully within the next couple of years we should see some very effective management and fingers crossed a recovery of the sort of habitats they're protecting.
Yeah, I mean it's a beautiful coastline. You know, I mean I live here and it's got that, because of the white cliffs, it's got that real Mediterranean feel in the sunshine, really nice and light and all that kind of thing. And
yeah, it's lovely.
You know, rock pooling, as I've just been doing with Rich over there, is just really nice going around the chalky reefs. I come from Cornwall, serpentine and granite and all that kind of thing. Very much different beaches, sandy beaches, not pebbly beaches.
Well, so those chalk reefs, those cliffs you see, they actually extend quite a long way out into the sea.
I was surprised.
And about 70% of Europe's chalk reefs are here in the UK, and about 50-ish, roughly, % of that is here on the southeast coast, between here and St Kent. So it is a very, very rare habitat, and a lot of it here, so it does need protection.
It's amazing how you can live in a place and not really know or value just how rare a place you live in, really.
Unfortunately, because it's underwater, not so many people see it, and people kind of overlook it and don't necessarily engage with it, which is a massive shame, because there's some beautiful, beautiful stuff out there. It doesn't take much more than a mask and a snorkel to go and have a look at it.
There you go. Don't take much more than a mask and a snorkel. It just goes to show the white cliffs, like someone goes to the white cliffs of Dover and all that kind of thing. So that's a very unique kind of selling point globally, really, because there isn't many around.
No, that's it.
Yeah. So is this like one of the few ones, if not the only one?
It's definitely one of the few. There are other chalk reefs, and there are other chalk reefs in the EU, but it's definitely one of the few. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it just goes to show. And then you get in and get in. So do you do much diving?
I do when I can.
Yeah.
Try and get out as often as I can, really.
Okay.
And then was out this weekend on a couple of wrecks out here off Brighton.
Is there many wrecks?
There are lots and lots and lots of wrecks because the shipping channel here through the English Channel is such a busy shipping channel.
Is it the busiest in the world or something?
It's the busiest international in the world.
Okay.
So the Panama and the Suez obviously have a lot of shipping, but they're contained within a country.
Yeah.
So between 2 countries, there's about here, which is France and England here, there's about 300 movements of commercial shipping every day. So it's huge, and historically that's been high, and because of a couple of wars and that kind of thing, and just
very bad weather.
There's
a good few wrecks out there.
A lot of wrecks around here, and they're just brilliant for life and marine life.
Yeah. Did you ever go out around the pier at all?
Been snorkeling around there a couple of times, yeah.
Yeah.
Under the Past Pier, it's very nice, and obviously under the West Pier you need to be quite careful because it's a bit unstable, but there's a lot of sort of debris around the edges which has a lot of life on it, mussels, bib, crabs, that kind of thing.
Ah, well, let's go have a look.
Alright. I was out on a couple of wrecks just off the shore here and doing a bit of snorkeling around the piers. So,
Right.
so some quite nice stuff. There's loads of life on, like sort of around the old West Pier.
So there's quite a lot of life out there.
Yeah, there is. Especially structures like pylon and all the old pier legs. They attract life quite a lot. Mussels attached to them and anemones and things kind of grow off them.
Okay, so like when you see them on the bottom of boats, stuff like that, they
Exactly,
just,
yeah.
they like attaching to those kind of clean objects. It's new ground, I suppose.
Yeah, and things like crabs and lobsters use them as holes and to live in. Juvenile fish use them as hiding holes to kind of basically as safety and protection.
Safe
from
places to be.
Exactly,
And hide
yeah.
away.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Right. So no wrecks or anything then.
I was on a wreck a couple of miles offshore here.
Okay.
Just
What was it?
it was an old steamship, but now it's very broken up, so you can barely see that it's a wreck at the moment.
So you can't recognise it as a.
You can see the boilers and things like that on it, and you can
Okay.
see spars coming off. So it depends on how old they are and how deep the wrecks are. It depends on how much waves
how
they've taken.
deteriorated they
Exactly,
are and
yeah.
all that
How-
kind of thing. And there's usually kind of a bit of history to a lot of these wrecks as well. Isn't there?
Yeah, quite a lot of
Yeah.
people. So I quite like them because of the life they attract.
Yeah.
But some people don't like it because of the history.
I'm going to do a project on seaweed, and they put a gamut. They do like a non-species specific pheromone in spring and autumn.
Yeah.
So when you're going along the beach, it's a very good time to have a romantic walk, apparently.
Glad you know that.
Yeah. So there's a lot of life going on there, but is there any kind of like way that people can get into finding out what's going on there? Because it seems like a lot of knowledge, real basic knowledge about what's going on just below the surface out here is only really now coming to fruition, where people are kind of doing it in joined up handwriting, so to speak. I mean,
Yeah, I mean, it is relatively easy to get out there and enjoy it. I mean, if you want to go for a swim off Brighton Pier, you need a mask and a snorkel, and you'll see life around them.
sure. Like you did the weekend.
Like I did the weekend. I mean, obviously don't go through the pier because it's collapsing. So,
Sure.
but there's a
danger.
lot of it around the
Yeah.
edges that you can kind of see
Yeah.
and enjoy. If you're a diver, there's a national program called Sea Search, and they use
Sea Search.
Sea Search, yeah. So they
Okay.
use recreational divers and get them to record what they see. But because it's so expensive and difficult and weather dependent to actually survey the seabed,
Sure.
we rely on a lot on volunteers and people who can kind of
So
get
how
the
would you
data.
get involved in that then? I mean, obviously we're here at Brighton Marina. There's a diving outfit here, is there?
There are a couple of dive clubs around here, there's a couple of dive boats, but you need to be a qualified diver and then just find, if you have a search on the internet for Sea Search, you'll find information about it and you can just go on a course.
So is that through the Sussex Wildlife Trust, or is that a separate organisation?
Here it is, but it is a separate organisation. It was
Okay.
Marine Conservation Society and JNCC who started it about 15-20 years ago, I think.
Okay, right. So if you want to get involved with all of these things, should be on the website, links to all the stuff we're talking about. And just to kind of really clear it up, so the Sussex Wildlife Trust, which obviously your role is a marine officer.
Marine officer, yeah.
So that's you're part of it. If you really want to find out what the Sussex Wildlife Trust is all about, I suppose you have to go and chat to your boss.
Yeah.
Yeah. So who's that then?
Tony Whitroad.
Ah, Mr. Tony Whitbread. Yeah. Well, perhaps we need to go over and see what Tony's up to.